in my view, the opportunities and the challenges are interrelated from my perspective. And so let me explain it. So most retailers understand the need to develop some kind of sales forecasting model, right? But what most retailers don't understand is that having a high quality sales forecasting model and stopping at sales forecasts is like having a state-of-the-art smartphone and using it exclusively to make phone calls, like kind of like, my father did. But no apps but the phone app. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It scratches the surface of what it can do. So I'm going to step back and define a high quality sales forecasting model. And that means a model built on a time-tested framework by people who understand retail and are using vetted data. So once you have this, you have the ability not just to forecast sales, but to understand where your customers will come from before you build the store. It's also like you can use it to determine where the customers of your existing stores are coming from if you don't already know that. And additionally, because you have vetted data, you have accurate knowledge of where your competition and other demand drivers are on the map. All of this knowledge is valuable for making accurate sales forecasts and cannibalization estimates, but it can do much more if it's used properly. So, I mean, just a rhetorical question. What portion of important decisions made by retailers are impacted by the location of their stores, the location of their customers, and the location of their competitors? And I imagine that varies from chain to chain, but it's probably typically a lot. A lot of those decisions are impacted by those factors. So let's look at the opportunities that we're talking about here. So if you combine the ability to predict where your customers will come from with a robust lifestyle segmentation analysis of your existing customers that includes their transaction history, and you have up-to-date vetted data about your stores, your competitors, and your market drivers, you can get incredible insights into the stores before you open them, as well as the impact of new and closing stores on your existing stores. And then if you put this information into the hands of people that make decisions, you can empower them to create much more value by virtue of making decisions based on a robust analysis instead of guesses or maybe just standard operating procedures. So let me get specific, okay? Here's some examples. Properly sizing store departments at design time instead of adjusting post-opening. You can optimize grand opening marketing campaigns really effectively. You can roll out new products and departments in stores most likely to benefit from them. You can get smarter about store locations based on online sales. You can optimize your pricing strategy for new and existing stores, respond to the impact of new competition from a merchandising, marketing, and pricing perspective. You can determine the optimal investment in loss prevention infrastructure at design time instead of over-investing or retrofitting. And even restaurants, who oftentimes this doesn't seem to really apply to, even restaurants can benefit because using this kind of an approach can allow you to test market new products with much higher reliability as to the chain-wide impact of the product. So just as a real-world example here, I was literally involved in the use of this technology to determine the optimal linear feet of shelf space to allocate to specific breakfast cereal SKUs for a store in the design phase. And it worked brilliantly. It really worked. They were able to design it correctly and match demand almost exactly. Okay, so what are the challenges with this? Okay, sounds great, but there's some challenges. The first involves getting real estate bought in to do more than relying on sales forecasts, right? Without real estate, it pretty much falls apart because you need current vetted market data. No one sells that, but every real estate rep has this info in their head, at least for the markets they work in, if they're any good. So the tech exists for getting it from their head into a database, but the will and incentives are also required. Then there's the customer data. If it's available, IT has to be looped in to access that data. And if there's no customer data available, then management needs to decide if this is something they should do. And spoiler alert, they should. And finally, the departments that can make use of this information need to be open to it, right? If you turf wars and not invented here attitudes are going to kill this effort. So that's what I see.